Okay. I'd like to call the December 12th business meeting to order for the Verona Borough Council. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Provenza. Present. Mr. Colonna.
Present.
Mayor Patino.
Present.
Mr. Alexander.
Here.
President Hutchinson.
Here.
Ms. Redzak.
Present.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Mr. Pitch.
Here.
Mr. Craig.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Any additional or emergency additional agenda items? None. We have one registered comment. Yvonne Lamelli, I'm thinking, from DCED.
Yvonne Lamel.
Okay, that'd be
That was
pretty
close.
good.
That was close. You were close. So does that mean you want me to?
Yes,
start
ma'am.
talking? Okay, great. So good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Yvonne Lamel, and I am the Emergency Services Program Manager for the Center for Local Government Services, the Department of Community and Economic Development. My responsibilities entail having oversight of the Department of Community and Economic Development's Public Emergency Services Program, which includes police, fire, and EMS. So in recent years, because of the financial staffing and operational issues facing many small police departments, the trend towards regionalization has spread rapidly in Pennsylvania. There are now 45 fully operational regional departments employing over 800 officers and more than 250 other contractual agreements between municipalities for shared services, shared police services. Because of this recent trend, DCD has taken a more progressive approach to supporting and assisting municipal efforts to regionalize police, fire, and emergency medical services throughout the Commonwealth. Not sure if you know this, but Pennsylvania has the largest number of municipal police departments in the country, at 969, with I believe it's 805 or 83% of those departments having less than 10 officers. There's also a current federal study recommending that departments with fewer than 10 officers consider consolidation to improve their efficiency and effectiveness. So it's no surprise that the concept of regional policing is gaining favor among you municipal leaders. So who are these individuals working, hardworking individuals that are providing this form of technical assistance, working countless hours to produce the implementable studies that I'm referring to? I'm glad you asked. The title of a peer consultant is pretty misleading, but joining me today is our police peer consultant, Gerald Simpson, and he's a direct extension of the DCED team. It's through the network of more than qualified peer consultants who are current and retired police chiefs that our office has an active role assisting municipalities building their capacity. Regionalization is an option that many municipalities in Pennsylvania are now exploring more than ever, and it's at the forefront of most of our discussions when we're out on the road. Our reports are intended to be a tool to help you, the elected officials, make informed decisions regarding public police protection for your municipality and the region. Our focus is helping communities to decide whether or not to regionalize your emergency services if it makes sense for you. So the feasibility studies that our office completes are directly connected to many of the regionalization efforts across the Commonwealth that have come to fruition. And I'm very proud of that. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I don't want to forget to mention that the studies and the technical assistance provided by the state are of no cost to the municipalities. Again, there's no cost to the municipalities for this services. So I'm going to ask Chief Simpson to elaborate. I know we only have a few minutes on the agenda to talk about the program. Dr. Carpenter had reached out to our office, and our deputy secretary said, you know, go out to Verona or in person or virtually and discuss our program. So here we are. We're definitely advocating for regionalization efforts. But again, Chief Simpson will elaborate on his involvement, most recent regionalization efforts here in Allegheny County. And if you have time, Chief, you can discuss the importance of the relationship with like the many stakeholders that we've developed during this process. Let me end with saying that the trend towards police regionalization is one that has been very positive, and DCD has and will continue to play an important role in helping to provide expert police information and public safety alternatives, mainly to form regionalization to all of municipalities in the Commonwealth for years to come. So, Chief, if you don't mind, talking a little bit about some of your efforts here in Allegheny County.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Simpson. I'm a former chief of the Southern Chester County Regional Police Department, recently retired about a year ago this time. I was recruited into this position back in 2020, I believe, is when I started with DCD on in a part-time basis, helping work on some of the regional studies. My role now is more or less defined as the boots on the ground or on-site expert for helping communities kind of work through some of the early stages of the mystery of regional policing. So as Yvonne mentioned, I'll talk primarily about the stuff I've worked on out in Allegheny County, and I've been out in Allegheny County now for about 18 months extensively, and created a tremendous amount of people in the network out there, including law enforcement and elected official stakeholders, advocacy group stakeholders. In fact, I was on the phone earlier today with one that's working to aid a lot of policing and law enforcement operations as it has to do with mental health and wellness and stuff like that for your citizens. So it's the regional policing process is staged. It starts out with the feasibility study. When that's completed, usually what happens is there is a handoff of some part where the elected officials kind of get the results of the study, and then I come into the environment if invited or asked to work through some of the pieces to try to implement the governance piece and how that partnership actually works in reality. Now, that's not just a plug and play, frankly. That takes some time where we go out, or I come out there and we talk through some of the nuances of what that partnership should look like with your contiguous neighbors or your neighbors that are interested in joining your policing organization to reach the optimal goals or the optimal solution of improving the business model for all of the communities that are involved in that project. From there, we work through that governance process, which is the creation of a charter agreement. That can take anywhere from, frankly, it's different for each project, 3 months to maybe 6 months to sometimes even a year. And we kind of establish a realistic timeline and a task list of what we're trying to accomplish, and we identify some of those earlier objectives that may be more challenging than the other ones. In fact, I was just in, I want to say Lebanon or York County, and we kind of identified like these are the ones we suggest that you tackle first, because if you put off the deal breakers to the very end, it's like you do a lot of work and then you get at the end and you can't get past that one challenge in the room. So we try to identify that individually for each community, and then work through that in some manner. After that happens, depending upon the circumstances that are going on in your communities, whether there are existing law enforcement services and or how they're staffed, my role then takes on some different kind of space. In the case where I've been working out in Allegheny County with the Eastern Regional Mon Valley Regional Police Department, that role has taken on a tremendous amount of administrative responsibilities. Now, that's not doing that in a silo. I don't do that just on my own. I work in small committee with the elected officials to help them understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, and then we bring it back to the greater group for approval and stuff like that. So in this case, I work extensively with the Budget and Finance Committee, sounding just like it, as it's titled, building out the budget and then building out the financial process. The revenue process. I work with the Personnel Committee. We just actually completed the police chief selection process. That'll conclude actually tomorrow evening, where we are going to sit down with this chief they've selected out of state, in fact, that they want to bring into to Allegheny County to help them build a professional police organization. And then I work with the Community Relations and Engagement Committee. Now that's unique to them because those were the three priorities they had identified as trying to put on the front face of this organization. Budget and finance, making sure that's all healthy and it's well funded. We've helped them with some grant identification and some grant assistance. Personnel, talking about some of those matters that can turn an organization upside down pretty quickly on the establishment of healthy processes for identifying police officers, supervisors, and obviously police chiefs. And then finally, the community relations is having building that trust and legitimacy between this yet to be existing regional police department and the community that's going to serve. So that sounds like a lot. I know we're only here for a very short meeting here tonight to kind of talk to identify what this process looks like. I travel out to Allegheny County. I won't be out there for the remainder of this year, but I know I'll be back out in January, and then my schedule of going out to deal and help with projects out there over the next year will start to materialize and identify. So if you guys are part of that, I look forward to working with all of you. Look forward to meeting all of you in person, and I have a few minutes to answer any questions that you may have. That's kind of stirring around as you think about this maybe seem, as we described it back in October of last year in the Eastern Regional area, it sounds like a moonshot, but it's not. In fact, we're on our way back to Earth right now. We're about ready to land safely somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, as it were. So for any of you that can remember when we went to the moon. So
Thank you, Chief. Yeah, the report, I wanted to just hone on the fact that the report is data-driven. So we ask that everyone's cooperation with gathering the data that is necessary for the actual study. And like Chief described, that study is done and then it's moved on to potentially Chief Simpson, because he knows that area. But a letter of intent is needed. And I discussed that with Dr. Carpenter earlier, and it's approved by you and signed and returned back to our office just to say that you want to for us to move forward. I know there was some questions regarding your stamp application that's in. I thought the kickoff was going to be today, but I think I was told earlier today that it didn't happen. But just want you to know that we work with the stamp person and consultant. This would only enhance your application. It would aid in the second phase or your implementation phase of STAMP. So it won't impact it in any negative way. If anything, it would enhance your application and the steps and phases within the STAMP application. So I wanted to make sure that you were clear with that. The left hand definitely knows what the right hand's doing. You have a consultant on the stamp end, but that consultant, I think it's Jason Daly, will be in close coordination and efforts with our police consultant that is assigned to the project.
Well, thank you,
Okay.
Yvonne and Jerry. for all that wonderful information.
You're very welcome. And
So-
I understand you may want us to come back in January to do a full-fledged workshop if necessary. If that's what you plan to do, we'll be welcome to come in, because this was a lot of information, I know. But you know, we can break it down in any way, in any form you'd like. But in person is probably a more effective way of providing the information that is needed and necessary. And like I said, we work with the stamp coordinator and the stamp consultant to assist in that effort as well.
Well, having the longer presentation would be something we would all have to discuss.
Okay.
But if we did decide to do that, about how long is the presentation?
We can tailor it to whatever your needs are. It depends on how much information we have in hand, you know, ahead of time, that we would be able to respond to questions that you may need. It's not cookie cutter, and I'm not gonna, because every community is different. It'll be tailored to meet the needs of Verona Borough.
Mm-hmm. So
So we can do a half-hour presentation or an hour presentation. That's up to you. We can come any day during the week, evenings, whatever works best for you.
Okay. And so if I put all together what Mr. Simpson was talking about, this process to me sounds like it's like a minimum of 2 years. Does that sound about right?
No,
She-
that's it really depends. I mean, your study will be done by someone that usually takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days once the data is collected. Really, it's on your end to get the data back into the organization. Once we have that, we have a formula that we'll follow on staffing, on some budgeting items. So that's, I don't want to say it's cookie cutter, because it's not. But there are, you know, that is a process that has been well established by DCD, and that, you know, so we're comfortable on what I would say is an efficient turnaround. As for the delivery of that, and then the discussion about implementation, or the really it's the governance part, that really is a comfort level for the community. Some communities work more efficiently than others. Some of that's because of staffing, some is for a variety of reasons. So this, and then there are some projects that some people don't think will be done in 5 years, but no, I think realistically you can target a year to have a real good solid understanding, or less, depending upon the circumstances that are present. And without knowing all that right now, I can't give you a fair estimate, but I will tell you this. One of the first things I do as part of any project is to talk through what the realistic timelines look like, and what's the comfort level look like for the elected officials, for the group that's having this work being done, right?
Okay, thank you. Who have any questions for either one?
Nobody have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple, but I'll try to be selective in the interest of time. First, just to echo everyone's sentiments. Thank you both for coming out, Yvonne and Chief Simpson. This is very helpful for us, especially at this juncture in time where we're sort of, you know, wrestling with a number of different options just to make our community, you know, more efficient, economical, and of course, safer. Regionalization is something I think many, if not all of us, have heard about through, you know, different workshops. A number of us are participating in local government academies, newly elected officials, of course, which is where I know a few of us first kind of heard about this. They kind of made it sound very simple. You know, they said, you know, just write a bunch of letters to any sort of neighboring municipalities that you think could be candidates, and then see what they say. It sounds like we should hold on that and, you know, wait until we can work with you and do this feasibility study and take advantage of that. I don't think there's any reason we wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think the main concerns were just timing and making sure that we're not duplicating efforts with STAMP, which I think you've alleviated a lot of concerns. So the only other thing I want to ask about that you I don't think we touched on is just how do you make sure that the voices of our current police are heard, along with, you know, other staff that may be related to public safety and the community? Is that something that's part of the feasibility study? Does that happen with community engagement? If you could just touch on that a little bit more for me. Thank you.
It's probably happens more with my part of the process where we start to measure out and gauge, like, what does, because look, there's always a lot of concern and fear about loss, and there's a lot of there's not an argument I haven't heard across the state, or a concern I haven't heard across the state, including my own project when I started that in 2014. So we try to address all those concerns, and I'll give pieces of advice on how to communicate clearly to the employee group about what's happening, and while keeping in mind there are some things that frankly the decision makers will make at your level and in your room, that sometimes it's not always best to share with the paid staff as you figure out, negotiate some of those items that may be revealed or materialized. But at the end of the day, we try to address all those things, particularly even, just not just your concerns, but your community's concerns. What does that delivery model look like? And like I said, there's not a item of concern I haven't heard probably a half a dozen times over. Your study will kind of be very black and white. Like, here's this, here's that. The reality of it is, it's what I'll do next with your assistance, right? That we try to figure out where's the best fit for this. There are no plug and plays on regional policing, and I think should be comforting to hear, right? That sometimes these business models have to be tailored to what are in the community's best interests and the employee group, as it relates to what you're looking to get from them as well, and have them come along with this and cooperate with this.
And I wanted to add that, the common hurdles standing in the way of regionalization are what we've called the killer P's: politics, personnel, and public perception. So there are public perception issues that regionalization will have to overcome, like that preconceived notion that I don't want to give up my local department. We will help you focus on helping the community make that decision. That's what our studies, that's why it's such a hands-on experience, and with our help to allow you to make those informed decisions. So that's why the study comes first, and then that implementable phase is, with that the study has a huge emphasis on implementation as well. But this hands-on experience with these more than qualified police peer consultants that have gone through regionalization efforts will allow you will assist you in making that informed decision. So the goal is not only to improve the coverage, but to enhance it, across all of the communities in Pennsylvania. That's what our goal is.
Thank you. Who else?
Mhm.
Question, anybody?
Nobody else? Well, we really appreciate your talk to us tonight and your presentation. And I'm sure we'll be back in contact with you in the near future. Appreciate your time and your knowledge.
You're very welcome. And if you
Thank
have
you.
any
A wonderful and safe holiday
questions,
season.
I'm sorry.
What, Jerry?
Wishing everybody have a wonderful and safe and holiday season.
Yes,
Yeah.
same to you. Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
And if you have any questions, follow-up questions, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to pick up the phone. Okay.
Will do. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Okay,
Trying to leave.
go to comments from the public. At this time, council will hear comments on public related items. Please approach a podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. Doesn't look like we have any virtual hands, so we're going to go on to the next step. First of all, I want to mention that we had an exec session due to personnel prior to this meeting. Next, I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of September 26th, October 10th, and November
I'll
14th.
make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter. Second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. The only thing, other thing I have is I want to wish everybody happy and safe holidays. Next up, Mayor.
Real quick, an update on the police department. You've all heard it was sent out. We do have the state police, they come in for, a couple of shifts, but we do have coverage. And, we're working on hiring, more officers. And from what I understand, the chief was in this morning and he looks good and he's moving around, so he's still gonna be out for a bit, but, his, injury seems to be healing pretty good, so hopefully we wish him the best and hopefully we'll be seeing him, sometime next month, possibly. We'll see what the prognosis is. And two quick comments, I'll leave that up to you with Santa Claus, Dan. And the other thing is I just wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I want to thank everyone that has volunteered in the past and over the past years for everything you've done. It does not go unnoticed, believe me. We appreciate that. And once again, Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy Holidays.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to say, I forgot, we did have an exec session on personnel last Monday evening also. Borough Manager Stephanie.
I only have one thing, the administrative office hours starting December 20th. The office will be open December 20th to the 22nd from 10 to 3. That was when it'll be manned. It will be closed December 25th and the 26th, and it'll again be open December 27th through the 28th, 27th, 28th, and 29th, from 10 to 3. So that's the only time there'll be people in the office, and happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you. Code Enforcement Report.
You should all have a copy of the code enforcement report. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay.
How are things going? Are issues being resolved fairly quickly and easily, or are we having to take people to court?
It depends on the issue and the person.
Well, I guess I'm looking for a generalization of like 50-50, 5-95. What are we looking at?
98.
Stuff's getting cleaned up. I mean, I've noticed a lot of the alleys are getting cleaned up.
98 too,
So the majority of things are getting worked through.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I'm hearing. Great, wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Police Chief's report.
Yes, I have, complaints received 117, total crimes reported 22, total crimes cleared 21, total persons arrested 21, no code summaries, vehicle code issued 10, borough code summaries issued 26, parking tickets 149. Magistrate fines collected $30. Borough fines and fees collected $1,060. Police reports purchased 120. No amusement devices permits. We'll start that up next year. And for municipal fines, 26. Total fines and fees collected $1,237.60. And parking permit fees $45.
Thank you, Mayor. Fire Chief's report, DNT.
I think I turned it on, Dan. Yeah, just I turned it, yeah.
Good evening. The Verona Fire Company answered a total of 12 calls for the month of November. 11-1 natural gas odor at 628 5th Street in Penn Hills. 11-4 extrication rescue at 744 Heron Avenue in Verona. 11-5 vehicle accident Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona. 11-8 medical assist 481 Poplar Street in Verona. 11-14 search for a person in water Allegheny River Boulevard at Sandy Creek Road in Penn Hills. 11-16 motor vehicle versus pedestrian accident 634 Church Street in Verona. 1118 Medical Assist, 643 Second Street in Verona. 1120 Carbon Monoxide Alarm, 451 Union Street in Verona. 1122 Natural Gas Odor, intersection of Second Street at Church Street in Verona. 1124 Possible residential structure fire, 723 Parkway Avenue in Penn Hills. 1128 First responder detail at 559 Penn Street in Verona. And 1130 carbon monoxide alarm at 6945 Sisto Street in Penn Hills.
Thanks, Dan. Anybody have anything for Dan?
This is mine. You can bring it up.
I was talking to the mayor. The fire department is once again going to do Santa on the fire truck on Saturday, December 23rd. And what time?
11 to 11. It takes about 2 hours to go around. Yes, and I want to thank you guys. You know, we started that in 2021. And it's been a big success ever since. And Lower Valley will also be there. And Sergeant Francos will be leading it again. So,
All right, we'll be
thank
ready
you
to
for
pull
coming
out of
on,
here.
and Santa Claus will be on the fire truck and meeting the kids. So if you hear sirens and whistles blowing, that'll be the arrival of Santa Claus. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. EMS report, Lower Valley?
You should have received their report in your packet. Quick overview, we have 30 total responders for November. There were 9 advanced life supports and 3 basic life supports.
Thank you. Solicitors report, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did submit a written report. It's in your packets, and I have nothing further to add except to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Pitch.
Thank you. You have my written report. Got a whole lot of updates. Unfortunately, the CFA board did not announce any grant awards. So we have 5 or 6 that we're waiting to hear back on, which hopefully the word of mouth right now is January timeframe. So it's just sit and wait for right now.
I just want to
Matt.
mention that Center Avenue looks like the sewer's done. And they're gonna pave it in the spring, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we have the grant for that. That's the bids actually came in under the grant amount, so it's fully funded. The weather just moved in on
Right.
us.
And he's gonna start on Wildwood then?
Yeah, he had one other project that he was finishing it up, and then he'll be moving over the Wildwood.
Very good. Thanks, Matt.
Did your report indicate here anywhere about the alleys? Were they able to be all done?
They're done.
Yeah, that project's done.
Oh, they're all
We're
done.
closing out the paperwork with the cogs now.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Yeah.
Vince,
and-
maybe,
I didn't know if it got to be cold too fast.
No, that
Vince,
one got
maybe-
done. We have a couple other
maybe
projects that we're
update
just
that
waiting on
board
the
at
county to
Cribs.
give us the thumbs
some
up.
of the things about
Which ones?
The next block of Sylvan,
alley reconstruction.
the ADA ramps
Oh, okay.
on James is waiting for better weather. And then there's a sewer lining project in the Parker Center Avenue area that we're just waiting on the county to give us the thumbs up.
Okay, wonderful.
And
Thank,
Trish had a question.
yes.
Of course I did. Thank you. Yes, along with the waiting for the weather on the crosswalks for the Sylvan Way Alley. Speaking of crosswalks, Center and ARB, are they waiting for warmer weather to also replace the crosswalks? I know you said it was in the scope of work.
I did not go through there on the way in, so I'm not sure if they are done or not, but I know from talking to them that the state was demanding, so. If the weather changed and they didn't get it done, it will be done.
They were out today.
They were out today.
They got it paid
Yep.
today, okay?
They only put one section in, and that's it. They're not doing all 4.
They're doing the 3 they paved.
Oh, geez.
I'll follow back up and.
Yeah.
with
I seen a
them.
Craftco machine, so they must have sealed it too.
Okay,
They didn't look like they did the side where Gecko was at. They did all the rest.
yeah, it was dark when I was coming in, so I didn't notice, but I'll make sure to take a look at that, and if we have any questions, I'll get back in touch with Oakmont.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks, Matt. Committee reports, Finance Committee, Dr. Carpenter.
Thank you. For the month of November, Our revenues were, 103,442. So our revenues so far for the year, and that's only, not including the month of December, is 1.683 million approximately. Expenditures for the month of November was approximately 155,000. So we were in deficit of approximately 51,000, but for the year, again, not including December, we have spent about 1.4 million, and we have a net income of 295,000 at this point. Major revenues for the month of November included $10,252.91 of the regional sales tax. And major expenditures were, of course, our Alcoasand bill, which is about $179,000 per quarter for 1,189 accounts. And we spent the $12,000 for the administration hardware from the ARPA funds. You all have in your packet the bills, and I don't know if there's any questions on the bills. But if not, I can make a motion to pay the bills for November.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter to pay the November bills. Second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
We are gonna be passing the budget later in the meeting. I just had one quick little question, Steph, regarding the recycling. Is there any way we can look and see if we got anything for 2022?
We did,
We did,
but that's as far as I can figure.
okay,
Again, even though it's not in the budget, it's the max amount we're speaking of is $3,500.
Right.
We did apply for it this year. It's not that it wasn't applied for, we haven't received it.
right, and it usually lags like that, but I'm just wondering, yeah, we haven't gotten it for 23 yet, but did we get this for 22?
If it was in the line items that came through. For
Okay.
22. You have to remember, I always say your December financials are never perfect because a lot of payments that we have outstanding that go into like 2023 will come in January.
Right,
Like we haven't been paid for the DPW truck, so that money's still outstanding.
Oh.
Some other things still outstanding and the recycling is still outstanding.
okay,
But
But-
I mean, of all the things, I mean, when I look at, we're talking about 0.00.
right, it's a small amount for sure,
I mean, if it comes in.
Yeah.
It's great, but again, I've said this before, I said this in an email. Things that were yearly, did not necessarily know about. And
Right.
I'm still learning.
I got that, but are we gonna add that approximate
No.
3,500
We are
into
not.
our revenue?
No. There, because it's not in the budget and really at this point. I don't like adding grants that I don't know I'm necessarily going to receive.
Okay, well, it's a little different kind of a grant is my understanding. It's just, you just fill out the form, they weigh the tonnage of all our recycling and they give us money. It's not like a typical grant, but that's how I understand
And
it.
it may be, but again, it can be added in next year. When I have more of a historical background to look at
Sure.
how it works. We don't have a historic background on that one.
Yeah, and when we get it, it'll be gravy.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. at this
Mhm.
point.
Okay. Well, before I pass on to the next committee, I just want to wish everybody in Verona and on council a great holiday. And also thank all the volunteers who have worked over the course of the last 12 months to bring forward all the various events that we have been able to enjoy here in Verona. So thank you, everyone, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Recreation Community Events, Mr. Craig.
I just have a couple of things. One, I met with Allegheny Arborscapes this morning to discuss the placement of trees up at Cribs to replace the 3 that we took down. And then there's gonna be 3 other ones in the borough being put in. They hope to do that in the next week. And then after they do that, then they'll begin to do the trimming that we awarded back in the spring.
Oh, okay.
Of the business district trees.
Good.
Who's doing that?
Allegheny Arborscapes.
Okay,
That's actually who Tree Vitalize recommended and Brian recommended.
great.
The other thing is the water trail signs are in finally. They're in the borough garage. They will be going up in the spring.
Yeah.
And that, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Very good. Thanks, Red.
Yeah.
Next up, Public Safety, Sylvia Provenza.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This evening, we're going to approve the parking fee ordinance. That's all I have for right now. Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you. Communications, Mr. Floto.
I have no update at this time, but I also would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and happy holidays and a happy and safe New Year.
Thank you. Infrastructure and Asset Management, Trish Rezac Showalter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have anything officially on my agenda for tonight. I do want to thank my committee for their hard work throughout this year and bringing many important infrastructure items to discussion and to light. And I'm looking forward to continuing to bring this work into 2024. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you, Trish. Community Development, Mr. Long.
I have nothing at this time. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and happy holidays, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Reports of Special Committees, ALOM, Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. I just got notification that the ALOM along with Allegheny County Boroughs Association is going to hold their annual banquet next week on Saturday, February the 3rd at the Rivers Casino Ballroom. And it will go from 5:30 until 9. Price is $85 per person. That's what I have on, that's all I was doing
Thank you.
for now. You're welcome.
HOG is next week, I believe. Old business, nothing. New business.
Right, COG is gonna be on the 20th instead of the 27th.
Yes. I'll check again, but I'm almost positive.
The COG meeting,
Yeah.
that's not tomorrow.
Oh, no, wait.
It's
I put it
usually the
tomorrow.
4th Wednesday or,
Tomorrow or eight.
Here, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow at 6:30. I'll forward this to you. Well,
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah.
it's the 13th.
it's happening tomorrow.
Yes, it's tomorrow. That's the 13th.
Hmm, that's weird.
New business. I need the motion to set the regular workshop meetings, regular meeting and workshop meetings for the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m.
Second,
So, Mr. Floda, Mr. Long, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to advertise the regular and workshop meetings.
make that motion.
Dr. Carpenter first,
I can,
second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next, we need a motion to advertise our reorganization meeting on Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 at 7 p.m.
I'll make that motion.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the mutual aid resolution agreement and the MMU for Jerry Francos. I need a motion on that. First by Mr. Long,
Second.
second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the 2024 Verona sewage fee resolution. First by Mr. Floda, second by Mr. Long. Any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. On B, section 1B. Oh, I see. In other words, it's saying if you pay within 5 days, it's $10, and if you don't, it'll be 25. Is that what that's saying?
Yeah, this is all built off of,
Alcoasand.
Alcoasand, what they require is there.
This is their fee that they set.
This will.
Sorry,
Water.
never mind. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion, first and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the 2024 budget.
I'll second.
First by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the parking fee ordinance. First by Mrs. Provenza. Second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the IMPC ordinance.
I think it's actually the IPs.
This says
They
IMPC.
have written it wrong.
It's the International Property Maintenance Code.
Okay, so it's the IPMC ordinance. Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Floda,
I'll second.
second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Lastly, we need a motion to approve the ordinance to set the 2024 tax rate.
I'll make that motion.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed. That's it on new business. This time, announcements. Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Newsletter. Hope you all enjoyed the holiday issue of the newsletter. And we will now be taking ads and articles for our spring edition. And they will be due on Friday, February the 1st. Donald Moore can be reached for articles at 412-828-3607. And I can be reached for ads. And that would be 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, there will be no December meeting, and Sherry Kite has extended an invitation to our council and anyone that would like to come this Friday from 8 to 11. They're having a Christmas jazz concert there. And they're also going to treat with a free drink. Our council
Where's this?
at the Boulevard.
From when to when again?
That would be from 8 to 11 p.m.
Okay.
Also, Chase Bank is open for business now. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And ribbon cutting ceremony will be on Friday,
Bless.
January the 12th.
Bless.
From 1 to 3, God bless you. Thank you. And they extend the invitation to us. Twin Boroughs Ministry, next community dinner will be on Wednesday, December 20th. This is the third Wednesday. It's always on the 4th, but they have changed it this time for this month to the third Wednesday. It will be hosted by Riverside Community Church from 4:30 to 6:30. Historical Society, there will be no meeting in December. Next meeting is going to be Thursday, January the 18th, and it will be a movie. And the movie will be featuring Rick Seaback from WTAE, and it's entitled Southside. And all are welcome. And I believe that is it. If you have any questions or comments, I will be glad to take them. If not, this will conclude my report. And with that, I wish our entire council and families and the audience, our Zoom people, and all of Verona a very blessed, very Merry Christmas and an abundance of good health and happiness in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Provenza.
You're welcome.
This time we'll hear comments from the public on public-related items. Please approach a podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address and limit your comment to 3 minutes, please. I see no virtual hands, so this time I'll take a motion to adjourn. Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. Thank you for coming, everybody. Thank you for being virtual. I wish everybody the best of holidays.